Hello, friends, and welcome to today's live level up conversation. We are here on a beautiful Thursday, so let's dive right into today's live level up discussion.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hi, friends. Welcome. I'm Winnie, your host, an award winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member and contributor. And we are streaming here live, and it's so wonderful to be here with you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's start and tell you how the market's doing. Actually, earlier today, I was thinking, oh, this is great. We're going to jump on the show. I'm going to tell you some positive numbers. But unfortunately, that seems to have changed right now because I'm seeing red across the board. The Dow is currently down about 57 points, Nasdaq down about 66, and the S&P 500 is down 13 as well. Unfortunately, there continues to be concerns about inflation and the growth of the economy and all that. And so I wish I had better news for you. The real estate market certainly isn't back yet, but hopefully in the next few weeks we have something better to do for you. But today I thought I would share with you some stories that have been coming out in the realm of Tesla, Elon Musk. I mean, there's so much going on, but it makes sense, right? This is one of the largest companies here, not only in the United States, but in the world. And you have a very dynamic, but also very unique leadership in the realm of Elon Musk. So let's talk about this. So I got two stories to share with you on the realm of Tesla. All right. So one of the stories is shared by Laura Connolly at CNBC, talking about something called a severance package. Now, if you've ever been let go at a company, or you've departed, or you've taken the early retirement package or the buyout package, well, sometimes companies will offer you what they call a severance package. A severance package will when you exit. Well, I guess Tesla has been laying off employees. The talk is like 10,000, and there are even rumors that they could actually increase and double that number to letting go over 20,000 employees. But currently, under Elon Musk's guidance, he actually recently shared out a letter or email, if you will, talking about acknowledging that they sent out incorrectly low severance packages to some employees who were affected by recent layoffs. Now, Elon is saying that he wanted to personally address this mistake in an internal email, promising an immediate fixing of the severance errors. So, Tesla, as you can imagine, very large company, has announced a significant reduction in employee costs, cutting over 10% of its global workforce. Now that comes out to about 14,000 plus employees. Now, following the layoffs, Tesla is now redirecting its focus, saying that they're now going to take that money and they're going to really use it for other things. Of course, one of the things that they plan to do is to focus towards developing robo taxis instead of just producing more affordable electric vehicles. They really want to go in this very much a strategic direction. So these layoffs are part of Tesla's strategy to prepare for what they call their next phase of growth. Now, so you know, I don't know about you, but usually a CEO doesn't come out and talk about how well these packages or severance packages were below what they were supposed to be. So you wonder who's in charge of severance package, who did they report to, and who decided to have them at a reduced level, and was it because of other reasons where Elon felt like he needed to step up and talk about how the numbers were incorrect and to set the record straight, and just making sure that this was shared with their employee base. So hopefully things get better. Hopefully not more employees get laid off, but that's a good sign that at least severance packages will hopefully come to levels where they ought to be. Now, speaking of big things and big moves and compensation, now we just talked about how some employees have gotten laid off, and that number could potentially get bigger, let's segue over the next big move. And this is also on Elon's role at Tesla. Now, Elon is proposing relocating Tesla's headquarters from its current Delaware location to another location, and saying that this is helping to sort of reintroduce a massive compensation plan, which was previously nullified by a judge in Delaware. The proposal, of course, is saying that, well, is it going to be, if they move or they make a change, would this create something called Elon exceptionalism, which would enable Elon to be able to sort of outweigh the conventional corporate governance norms. So, of course, this isn't completely dependent on the courts. Shareholders would have to make this decision as well. And with shareholders, there's a lot of obviously institutional shareholders, such as money managers and different corporations like that. But moving away from Delaware's jurisdiction, which has historically curbed Elon's sort of excessive compensation plan, would really affect how Tesla is governed, and actually would potentially shield Elon from similar judicial setbacks. So we'll see how that unfolds and whether or not they do move their headquarters away from Delaware. Obviously, there were reasons that they moved them, or decided to be there in the first place. But institutional investors hold a substantial share in Tesla. So, of course, they would have to help make the decision possible as well. But yeah, this is a huge, huge amount of a compensation plan that Elon is hoping he will win to be able to continue to lead Tesla forward. But it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And if you haven't been following news, you might want to take a look at just how big. I think the number's not completely locked in yet. So still discussions, but it is definitely in the very large millions for sure. So lots of money, and that's just the beginning of it. Yes, and I see CrossX Fighter joining on YouTube Live. Thank you so much for jumping in and saying hello. It is so great to see you. And those of you who are jumping in live, do know we are live. So come in, say hello. Let me know how your week's been going, and jump in comments, and let me know how you feel about that. How do you feel about the reports that layoffs could hit as much as 20% of staff, and yet the CEO Elon Musk feels like they need to move their headquarters to another state so he can actually have a larger compensation plan for himself as CEO. Interesting concept, but we gotta also give it up. I mean, Elon has done some incredible things at his numerous companies, so we'll see how that continues to go, and that we'll follow that story closely. Now, speaking of CEOs, it's almost like a CEO weekend. And what is the CEO going to do, and who's going to be in the news? Now, this CEO has been in the news for the last couple weeks, and let's just say it hasn't been good news. David Chang and Momofuku, well, they've been in some hot water in the last few weeks because of a trademark issue, trademarking what they call the chili crunch. We're calling it the chili crunch war, in fact. Now, there are several companies have been speaking up, and David Chang and his group have received a lot of backlash against this sort of enforcing of the chili crunch trademark. So Mila is one company that has fired back, and actually is making some fun tactics promoting their own chili crunch versus David Chang's brand Momofuku. So it's sort of called Mila versus Momofuku, sort of the blind taste test of chili crunch sauces, if you will. This is definitely doing very, very well on TikTok. But really, this is sort of a bigger issue in terms of trademark tactics. So this was shared on actually today by the Today content, website, on their TV show, the whole Today franchise. Rachel is talking about the public apology. In fact, David Chang has issued a heartfelt apology to the Asian American Pacific Islander community and others who actually have felt marginalized by Momofuku's attempt to trademark what they call the chili crunch. Now, they're saying that they didn't realize, they didn't think, they didn't feel like that, and they didn't it wasn't intentional that they would have this negative impact, but nonetheless, due to, I'm sure, because of social pressure and consumer pressure and people just saying, feeling like David Chang was being a bully. Well, now David has announced that on his podcast that Momofuku would now cease enforcing the Chili Crunch trademark. Now, for those of you who are watching me live, let me ask you, have you tried Chili Crunch? Have you tried Momofuku's? Have you tried another brand? And how do you feel about these trademarks? I mean, they said his original statement was, you could call it Chili Crisp, which isn't trademark, but if you're going to call it Chili Crunch, I guess it's like chili oil, but with a crunchy feel to it. Well, then you would actually infringe on Momofuku's trademark issue here. So the trademark attempt definitely sparked considerable backlash on social media, especially from small business owners and minority women-led enterprises who really saw this as really unfair. And then this was a move against just traditional fair competition and sort of cultural authenticity. So initially, Momofuku had sought to differentiate itself in their own product by naming it Chili Crunch instead of like Chili Crisp, saying that it makes it more iconic and maybe people would buy their product more often because of the term chili crunch. They actually had received a cease and desist from Chili Kernel, which when launching their original product, which led to the purchase by Momofuku of the trademark, an agreement allowing continued use by the original company. But now it seems like it was kind of a classy mistake, but perhaps it's to the betterment because now the term chili crunch can be used widely and there will no longer be trademark issues there. So that's a good thing, right? All right. So CrossFit Fighter says hasn't tried either one. Well, maybe this is an excuse to try. Maybe it'll benefit David Chang, Momofuku. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Does this make you want to go and support his company? You feel like you're going to go buy a jar? I will be honest with you. I do have a jar. This is before this came about. One of my good friends actually gifted me a bottle, and I just feel like I'm going to go open it now and just try it and see what this crunch is all about. All right. Speaking of which, let's segue to the next story. Now, this is going to be a one that I think that will benefit a lot of us, a lot of you, perhaps. And this is the continuation, sort of the next level of the Biden administration. They're releasing now another formal proposal for student loan forgiveness. So this is at that next level plan. They're launching sort of a renewed student loan forgiveness initiative. This is being shared by my friend Annie Nova at CNBC. So they're saying this actually could help, actually, they're saying could help millions of borrowers more effectively. So they're saying that those who are interested have until May 17th to submit comments on the new proposal, which is designed to be, like I said, more legally robust than previous efforts. And unlike the broad cancellation previously attempted, this plan is very much focused on specific borrower groups, particularly those who are on the income driven repayment plans and those who earn under $120,000 a year as individual single filers. You just did your taxes, so you might know if you're in this category, right? So, this forgiveness plan is including a forgiveness of $20,000 and unpaid interest, which is designed to address concerns about sort of higher interest rates that we continue to experience, especially, you know, during the last few years, inflation's been sky high. Well, interest rates have also been sky high. So, this extended eligibility for cancellation is going to sort of help those with long term debt, those who have 20 years for undergraduate, 25 years for graduate loans. They're going to be qualified for a complete cancellation of their new guidelines. So, yeah, you have until May to put out your comments about that, how you feel about that. But that's what we know so far on the student loan basis. Now, those of you, and I know many of you, still are being challenged by student loans. Hopefully, that's some good news for you. For those of you who don't have student loans, I welcome your comments as well. Let us know how you feel about this decision. You think it's good? Do you think it's bad? I think, it really depends on who you ask. But I think we do know that student loans and high interest rate is definitely very much a pressing problem and continues to be a problem here in the United States. Now, speaking of perhaps not so much of a problem now, let's talk about how, well, the happiest place on earth, maybe it's just getting a little bit happier. I want to talk to you about Disneyland here in Anaheim, California, Southern California. They are going to be expanding. And if you haven't visited Disneyland in a few years, well, this just might be an excuse to do so. So Disneyland's 40-year, $1.9 billion expansion plan is coming because the Anaheim City Council has given an absolute okay. So almost $2 billion expansion plan. This is shared by Tom Tapp on Deadline. This was a unanimous approval. In fact, Anaheim City Council said absolutely Disney can go forward with their expansion, setting the stage for the final vote to happen on May 7th. So next month, a lot of decisions being made. Now, during a very long public hearing, various stakeholders, including local residents and Disneyland employees, voiced both support for and, of course, concerns about this expansion. Now, the plan is going to involve the redeveloping 57 acres of underused land, including some parking areas on the parks to enhance the park's attractions and, of course, to accommodate more um, rides and different attractions and facilities without actually expanding its current borders in Anaheim. So that's a good thing. I'm sure Anaheim residents were happy to hear about that. But the mayor has emphasized that this expansion would bring significant economic benefits to the city of Anaheim, including funding for affordable housing. And they're talking about improvements in parks and other infrastructure improvements. In fact, Disney has also agreed to a $40 million transaction to acquire roadways that surround the resort, which would, of course, also help make this project a little smoother in terms of execution, of course, future traffic management as well, not only during construction, but obviously after. That's always been sort of the big concern is that with so many people visiting Disneyland every year, that also brings a lot of vehicles into the city as well. Now, some of the big complaints or concerns were, of course, due to environmental and regulatory challenges. So, this project, this very big project, has faced a lot of scrutiny regarding its environmental impact, particularly considering air quality concerns and, of course, noise concerns. And so, they had to do a lot of reviews and potential zoning changes and all that. But on the positive side, the job creation and economic impact, they're thinking Disney's project is probably going to create nearly 9,000 jobs during the construction phase. And then after construction, 4,500 post completion. And of course, they're committing to employing union labor, including local residents and also veterans to help get the job done. So we'll see how that turns out. But I don't know about you. I'm looking forward to seeing what they build at Disneyland. I don't go there as often as I'd like to. It's just, I don't know, it's becoming so expensive. Hopefully, they find a way so that everybody can have at least a day in their park. So hope that's part of their longer term vision as well. That the expansion is sort of Disneyland's strategy to not only modernize the park but also to make it more inclusive. That would be my hope. All right, so let's take a look. Disney, you've never been to Disney? I see CrossX Fighter says I've never tried one before, so maybe that's on chili. But yeah, Disneyland, lots of exciting there. Let me know the last time you've been to Disneyland or maybe Disney World. How do you feel about that? Does it still give you as much joy as when you went younger? And also, I love how they continue to reinvent. I know things Star Wars, and now a lot of now they have California Adventure as well as is the second park that's on the same site as Disneyland, and so it's a great way for you to see two parks. And it also has different themes, and different attractions on the two different parks as well. Now, let's take a look at the market. The Dow is currently down 52 points. Nasdaq is currently down around 82 points. And the S&P 500 is down around 16 points as well. Continue to be in the negative. Now the day hasn't ended yet. We still got almost 2 hours left on the markets. So hopefully things improve a little bit. But with that, I want to just give you a huge thank you. And thank you so much for being a part of the show. If you don't mind, hit that like button and subscribe so you can stay updated on all the latest, newest content that we're going to be sharing. Of course, to watch full episodes of Level Up, with Winnie's Son, you can definitely check out Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and of course, NASDAQ as well. For those of you who are sharing the show, just like Joshua has been doing, make sure to tag at Winnie's Son to show your support so I can properly thank you on a future episode. A huge, huge thank you to Joshua. Thank you for your ongoing support. I don't take it for granted. I truly appreciate it. Okay, for more on all things content and business, feel free to reach out and send me a message. Let me know what you'd like to see on the show, what you love to hear on the podcast. If you didn't know already, I have a podcast called Yes Factor with Winnie's Son, which you can see on Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, and it's part of the LinkedIn Podcast Network. With that, I'll see you very soon. I hope you have a beautiful day. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.